Welcome back guys. In this video I'll be testing the PC Gamepass version of Clair Obscur Expedition 33 on my Windows PC that has a Ryzen 5700X 3D processor and an RTX 2070 Super GPU, released just yesterday, available on Game Pass day 1 of its release. It's a turn-based role-playing game that includes real-time aspects such as quick-time events and timing-based actions both in offense and defense. In defense, all attacks can be either dodged or parried. Parry is basically a dodge with a smaller timing window. The game uses Unreal Engine 5, but it does not suffer from traversal stutters. First I'll be highlighting the 1% lows. After that I'll be showing you how to use Optiscaler Mod to enable FSR frame generation in this game. Unfortunately, this game does not support any frame generation technique. Currently, Optiscaler FSR frame generation is a bit unstable, causes the game to crash randomly. Hopefully things will improve in the future via game updates. In order to get Optiscaler frame generation working, I'll be using a few more mods like Lyall's fix that will remove the 30 FPS cap and black bars from the cutscenes, and the nightly build of Special K that will help in preventing the game from crashing at the start of a battle. Before jumping into the gameplay, would like to thank keymailer and Xbox for providing me with a free monthly subscription of PC Game Pass. This subscription gives us access to hundreds of games. We can play these games for as long as we want until our subscription expires. Games from first-party Microsoft Studio and even third-party studio are available on Game Pass. Even EA Play membership is included. We get to play many AAA games day 1 of the release. In India, Microsoft even supports UPI mode of payment. I have installed Nvidia's GPU driver version 576.02. Unfortunately, we cannot override DLSS Upscaler via Nvidia app. The game comes with an older version of DLSS Upscaler. It's 3.7. Looking for the game's profile, there it is. No access to the settings. From Nvidia app, just disable Nvidia overlay. Can cause the game to crash with Optiscaler Mod installed. In order to use the transformer model of DLSS 4, we need to set the model preset to K. To verify this information, I'll be using DLSS Debug overlay. To enable it, I'll be executing the registry code provided by Emos. Just copy these lines. Create a new text file anywhere on your PC. Name it anything you want. I'll just name it as overlay. Change its extension from .txt to .reg. Hit enter. Right click, open with Notepad. Paste the lines here. Click on File, Save, Close and run this registry file. This will enable the DLSS debug overlay. To disable it, just replace the number 4 here with 0. Click on File, Save, Close and run this registry file. I'll revert the change as I want to enable the DLSS debug overlay. Right click, open. Yes. Okay. First I'll run the game without any mods installed, show you the base game performance. Using a custom afterburner overlay to show you the performance metrics. Graphics settings. Upscaler set to DLSS using its quality preset. No FPS cap applied, in-game VSYNC off. I have enabled VSYNC from Nvidia control panel. Display mode set to borderless windowed. I observed more crashes when I had set display mode to full screen mode. With Optiscaler Mod, so would recommend using borderless windowed display mode, full HD resolution. Post-processing effects disabled, motion blur, film grain, chromatic aberration, vignette. First I'll run the game using the low preset, everything set to low. We are in. I'll just enable the 1% close now. Keep an eye on the FPS counter and the frame pacing graph. There's our character Gustav accompanied by Sophie. We can change our character anytime while playing the game. It does not affect the story. Switch to Sophie. Okay, I'll just run around this place. Currently I'm in Lumiere. This is the game's prologue. Lot of non-playable characters around me. Still the game is running very nicely. We are hitting the GPU bottleneck here. VRAM usage is around 5.8 GB. I've never seen any Unreal Engine 5 game run this smoothly. I'm surprised. 1% low, close to 60. This is amazing. The game is running smoothly. Check out the DLSS debug overlay in the bottom left corner. Render preset used is E, version of the Upscaler 3.7.1. Auto export setting is on. Base resolution 720p upscale to full HD resolution. Okay, I'll just switch to high preset with post processing quality set to low. You can read its description here. Fine tunes effects such as motion blur, depth of field. Back to the game. Enable 1% lows. Okay, DLSS Upscaler is making the hair and beard look a bit pixelated. This is the CNN model of DLSS. Just observe the confetti in the environment. They are not producing any ghosting trails. Okay, going through the same route. And now we are getting close to 60 FPS. These are the settings that I'll be using with Optiscaler FSR frame generation mod. Still getting good 1% lows, 50 FPS as expected. Increase the preset from low to high after all. Back to this place. VRAM usage is around 6.1 GB. Game is not very heavy on the CPU, that's really good to see. Now I'll run the game with epic settings. Quick preset set to epic. Post processing set to low. Resume the game. Yeah, VRAM usage increased to around 6.7 GB. FPS dropped to around 45. Animation is looking a bit jarring. Not the ideal settings for this hardware, RTX 2070 Super. But it can still handle the game. FPS is staying close to 40 to 50. Depends on the area as well. Good to see that VRAM usage is still below 7 GB. I was expecting higher VRAM usage on the epic preset. I will be testing the game in another area, show you some combat as well. Before that, I'll just show you a cutscene. In this game, cutscenes are capped at 30 FPS and they even have black bars. This is why I'll be using Lyall's fix. It will remove the 30 FPS cap and also remove the black bars from the top and bottom sides. Yeah, you can see the black bars on the top and the bottom sides. FPS got capped at 30. VRAM usage increased to around 7.5 GB. The subtitle text is enclosed in a transparent box. This box makes the game display look blurry. Developers usually do this to prevent the game's HUD elements from flickering with frame generation on. But the thing is, this game does not support any frame generation technique. So this is a bit strange. Switch to low preset. Load another area. We are in playing as Gustav and Leon. Big open area here. You can see the creatures roaming around. Combat will start if I attack them or if they attack me first. FPS is within a range of 70 to 80. That's good to see. Change my character. Getting good 1% lows again. Close to 60. No traversal stutters. Okay, I'll just switch to high preset now. The preset that I'll be using with Optiscaler Mod. Preset set to high. Post processing settings set to low. Apply. Back to the game. Yeah, FPS dropped to around 63. Still the game is running smoothly. Getting good 1% lows, 51. VRAM usage here is close to 6 GB. Okay, I'll engage in combat now. There's an NPC roaming around. I'll just attack it first, gain an advantage. Fight started. 3 NPCs, first strike. I'll just use a skill. Skill consumes AP points. We can restore AP points by attacking, parrying or dodging. Immolation skill. You need to press the space bar key when the white line is in the yellow region to deal some extra damage. Oh no, should have dodged or parried that attack. Timing is the key. Yeah, dodge the attack. Perfect timing there. Try to parry this attack. Let's see what happens. Perfect. Perform the counter attack. Use my gun. AP points are used for the bullets. This guy is low on HP. Out of AP points, I'll just perform a standard attack. Enemy dodged. I'll use Ice Lance attack. Perfect timing. On the quick time event. Dodged. Good performance during combat. FPS mostly stays close to 60. Another parry. I am playing the game on normal difficulty, expedition. You can change the difficulty level anytime. Now I'll be showing you how to install Optiscaler Special Key and Lyall's Fix. We'll be using version 0.0.3 of Lyall's Fix. Can be downloaded from GitHub for free. This is the update log for it. Add option to disable post-process sharpening. Just expand the asset section. Click on the .zip link. If you want the Steam version of the game, download the Steam version of the mod. I actually have the PC Gamepass version of the game, so I'll download Xbox version of the mod. Click on the .zip link. I'll be using the latest version of Optiscaler mod for this game, version 0.7.7 preview 9 Daria build. Can be downloaded from Optiscaler Discord. I'll give its Google Drive link in the description of the video. This is the update log. Just click on the .7z link here. Now I'll be downloading the nightly build of Special K mod from its Discord server. Open its Discord server, click on the nightly build, scroll down to the end. Just download any build newer than version 25.4.16. I'll be downloading version 25.4.25. You can see the update log for 25.4.24. Prevent Clair Obscur from using sCRGB HDR to prevent crashes in battle. Click on the .7z link here. Again, I'll give the direct download link in the description of the video. Download the latest version of DLSS Upscaler from Tech Power Up's website. At the time of recording this video, it's version 310.2.1. Click on download here. Click on any of these servers, download will start. First, I'll be installing Optiscaler Mod. Just open the mod's archive file. Copy the highlighted files. This game does not support FSR frame generation, supports DLSS and XeSS upscalers. XeSS version 2. Copy. Open the game's install directory. Open Xbox PC app. Click on My Library. Select the game. Click on the three dots here. Click on Manage. Click on Files. Game size is around 41 GB. Click on Browse here. Open the game's install directory. Open Content folder. Open Sandfall folder. Open Binaries folder. WinGDK folder. Paste the mod files here. Change the name of Optiscaler.dll to dxgi.dll. Open Optiscaler.ini file. Set DX12 upscaler to DLSS. Set FG type to OptiFG. Won't be using Nukem 9's mod as the game does not support DLSS frame generation. Click on File, click on Save, Close. Now I'll be installing Special K. I'll be using it as a plugin for Optiscaler mod. In this directory, create a folder, name it as plugins. Now open Special K's archive file that you downloaded earlier. There is the file. Copy this DLL file, Special K 64. Open the game's install directory. Content, Sandfall, Binaries, WinGDK. Open plugins folder. Paste the DLL file here. Change its name to DXGI. Now I'll be installing Lyall's Fix. Just open its archive file. Open Sandfall folder, Binaries folder, WinGDK folder. Copy all of the files present inside this folder. Open the game's install directory. Open Content folder, Sandfall folder, Binaries, WinGDK. Paste the files here. Now I'll be manually updating DLSS Upscaler. Open the Upscaler's archive file that you downloaded earlier. Copy this DLL file nvngx_DLSS. Open the game's install directory. Open Content folder, Sandfall, Plugins, Nvidia, DLSS, Binaries, Third Party, Win64 folder. There's the older version of DLSS Upscaler 3.7.10. Replace it with the latest version. Check the version, highlight the file 310.2.1. Now it's not mandatory to enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting to use Optiscaler FSR frame generation, but if you have an RTX GPU, it's recommended to enable the setting. Right click anywhere on the desktop, click on display settings, click on graphics, click on advanced graphics settings, enable hardware accelerated GPU scheduling setting. If your monitor supports VRR, enable the setting as well. Now enable VSYNC from Nvidia control panel. Click on Manage 3D Settings, click on Program Settings. From this drop down bar, select Clair Expedition 33, scroll down to the end, enable VSYNC from here, apply the changes. My monitor is G-Sync compatible. I'll enable the corresponding settings for it. Click on Setup G-Sync and enable the following settings. Enable G-Sync, G-Sync compatible. Enable for full screen mode. Enable settings for the selected display model. I'll also enable G-Sync compatible indicator. This step is optional. Check this setting under display section. Make sure no third-party overlay like RTSS or Afterburner is running in the background. Otherwise, Optiscaler FSR frame generation won't work properly. I'll just use special case overlay to show you the performance metrics. Play. Upon game launch, you will see the overlay of special K. It's working. Open special case overlay by pressing the hotkey combo Ctrl Shift and Backspace. I'll just enable the OSD from here. Expand this section OSD. Expand extended monitoring. From here I just check CPU stats. That's it. Using the default settings for basic monitoring. Most of the parameters are already added to the overlay. Close. Special K also applies a low latency mode optimized for VRR displays. In-game graphics settings, Upscaler set to DLSS using its quality preset. No FPS cap applied, VSYNC disabled. Display mode borderless windowed. Full HD resolution. Post-processing effects disabled. Using the high preset with post-processing settings set to low. VRN. Now just open Optiscaler Mod menu by pressing the insert keyboard key. There it is, working in conjunction with Special K. From this drop down bar, make sure DLSS Upscaler is selected. You can see its version here. Inputs DLSS. Optiscaler frame generation selected. I'll enable it by checking this box FG active. Check this setting as well, FG hotfix, and set the limit value to 7. Check this setting as well, FG immediate capture. Make sure auto exposure and HDR settings are on. In the DLSS debug overlay, you can see the render preset. It's K, version of the upscaler 310.2.1, base resolution 720p, upscale to full HD resolution. Show you the debug view now. Click on save and as so that the settings are saved upon game restart. Your displays are working properly for all of the images. No HUD elements are visible in the bottom middle image. HUD elements should not flicker. The Optiscaler frame generation on. You can see the E key not showing up in the bottom middle image. Color palette is exactly the same for the bottom middle and bottom right images. Frame generation smoothing effect should work properly. Disable the debug overlay. Save INI. Let's just play the game. Sprint to the end. I'll also trigger a cutscene. Yeah, just observe Gustav's shadow. It's flickering. Minor flickering, nothing extreme. Common FSR frame generation related artifact. Can observe the added amount of smoothness. FPS is close to 90. VRAM usage here is close to 5 GB. High settings.
Oh, Luna's playing.
The confetti floating around the environment is not producing a ghosting trail.
Sometimes I feel so.
Subtitle text, not flickering. Yeah, the text is enclosed in a transparent box, which is superimposed on the game's display. Makes the game's display look a bit blurry.
Maybe she was a prisoner too.
DLSS debug overlay is flickering as expected. Not a part of the game's interface. After verifying the details, you can disable it. Made to the end, finally. Yeah, cutscene is playing. The black bars are gone. FPS is not capped at 30, so Lyall's fix worked. Even frame generation is working. I'll just disable it. This will cut down the FPS by half.
Turns out it's not that hard. You really should have done this ages
Yeah, FPS
ago.
dropped to around 35-40. Frame generation is not working now. It's not recommended to change Optiscaler Mod settings while the game is running in the background. It can cause the game to crash. This usually happens in the later levels.
I wanted to do something.
Now I'm in Spring Meadows. I'll show you how to use Optiscaler Mod to increase the image sharpness and improve motion clarity. Open the mod menu. Check the override setting under sharpness. This will increase the sharpness. Move the slider to the right. I'll select 0.400. Expand this setting. Motion adaptive sharpness. And check this setting. Motion adaptive sharpness. Again increase the slider to the right. I'll select 0.500 as the value. You can try experimenting with these values. Save and close. Back to the game. Yeah, the image quality is looking slightly sharper and cleaner now. all thanks to Optiscaler Mod. This step is completely optional. If the game is crashing frequently for you, just disable Optiscaler FSR frame generation. You can use Optiscaler to just improve the image quality. Combat started. 90 to 100 FPS. Dodge. Game is running very smoothly. Optiscaler FSR frame generation. Perfect parry. Latency is not a problem. Just make sure base FPS is close to 60. Shouldn't face any problems. Perfect dodge there. And just use my skills. Quickly take down the enemy. Perfect timing for the QT. This guy is down. Floating NPC. Took it out. Oh, he dodged my attack. I dodged the attack as well. Perfect parry. Use my gun. This guy is done. Cleared the field. Big open area here. FPS is close to 100. That's really good to see. Game is running very smoothly. It's a shame that Optiscaler FSR frame generation has some compatibility issues with the game at the moment. Maybe due to some game related issues. I'm not sure. Hopefully things will improve in the future. If you don't want to use Optiscaler FSR frame generation, you can just use the mod to improve the image quality. Entirely up to you. That's it for the video guys. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.